Now with me in studio to discuss more is Tom Gross, British political commentator and Middle East expert. Tom, what can Brits and the rest of the world expect to wake up to on Friday?
Well, I don't think we can ever be sure about polls, but if there's ever a day when we're going to call them in advance, it's now. Labour are ahead by a landslide. As you pointed out, it's been 14 consecutive years of Conservative rule, 5 consecutive Conservative Prime Ministers. I can't think of another democracy where they had 5 Prime Ministers in a row from the same party. David Cameron, Theresa May, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, and now Rishi Sunak. And I think that Brits would probably regard their election as relatively calm and straightforward compared to the other 2 major elections happening right now in France, where, you know, there's the second round on Sunday and the extreme right and extreme left together got more than 50% of the vote. And also the American election, which has gone into crisis after the, what some rather cruel British commentator called medical event, meaning the debate.
Well, it was
with,
quite...
yes.
Shocking to watch.
So that's right. So Starmer is the new leader of the Labour Party. He has shifted the party in a much more centrist, moderate direction from the previous leader, Jeremy Corbyn. And I suspect had he been leader last time in 2019, Labour might have won then. There were 2 decisive factors why they lost. Corbyn, an extreme left-wing leader who was not popular, and then
very critical of Israel.
He was very critical of Israel, and not just Israel. I mean, he was de facto anti-Semitic. He appeared on stage with Holocaust deniers. He called Hezbollah and Hamas his friends. But also, what I want to say is Brexit. The last election was about Brexit. Brexit is over, thank God. And therefore, the raison d'etre for Boris Johnson's big victory has gone. Unlike other countries, there's almost an immediate switchover. So the election is on Thursday, and already on Friday, probably Rishi Sunak will be packing and moving out, and Keir Starmer will probably move in during the course of the day.
So how would this impact the foreign policy, most likely, of the UK and specifically towards Israel, of course?
Well, there are 2 big foreign policy issues for Britain, which are Ukraine and Gaza. Let me just very quickly mention Ukraine, first of all. Britain has seen itself at the forefront of being robustly behind Zelensky in Ukraine, but I think the tide is turning in the sense that Trump wants to reduce support, and also the French National Rally, the far right. And therefore, Britain's going to be a bit of an outlier here on Ukraine. On Gaza, there's going to be enormous pressure within his own party to do things like curtail arms sale, British arms sales to Israel, to possibly follow in the direction of Norway, Ireland and Spain and unilaterally recognise a state of Palestine. I believe Starmer will resist strongly this, especially since a few days after the election there's a NATO summit. Starmer will go to Washington if he's Prime Minister, and then a European summit a few days later, not the EU, but another one that Britain participates in. Exactly. And I don't think he'll want to do something that will be out of coordination with British, French and German policy.
All right. And just quickly here, for the Jewish voters in the country, what are they looking for?
Corbyn, traditionally the Jews helped found and establish the Labour Party. Under Corbyn, the vote went down to only 11% of Jews. It's returned to about 40 to 50%, which is, if anything, a little bit higher than the national average. I should explain, 40% votes for Labour will still translate into possibly up to 2/3 of the seats under the rather distorted system that Britain has.
All right, Tom Gross, thank you very much for that input. We will, of course, be covering the election tomorrow here on i24 News. That's it for now, but stay with us. We'll be back with more news at the top of the hour. I'm Bianca Zanini. Thank you for watching.